welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Attorney Warren Brown, how are you, sir?
Good, Donnie, and yourself?
Good. Casey Anthony, your expert opinion on the case.
I think the verdict was a correct one. The best that anyone can say is that something happened. Well, when you're charged criminally, the state has to meet a very significant burden beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't think they did it. They could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt how the child died, where the child died, or even when the child died. And so I think what their approach was that the mother must have been responsible, but really there was no evidence of it. And as horrible as that little girl's death might have been, you can't convict people based on emotion. You can only convict them after the state has produced the quantity and quality of evidence that's sufficient to convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt of the defendant's guilt. It just didn't exist there.
The defense, any mistakes that, in retrospect, that one should not make as a defense attorney?
Well, they were criticized for a number of things. One gaffe was telling the jury in opening statement what they were going to prove. Well, you don't really want to do that. You alert the prosecution, for one. You allow them to gear up for your approach. And secondly, you put in the minds of the jury that you have an obligation to do something. You don't have to do anything as a defendant. You can sit quietly by and require the state. So, but as it turned out, I think what they benefited from was the absence of certainty in the evidence that the state produced on the issue of when the death occurred, how it occurred, and who provoked it.
Attorney, one last question. The judge in the case, an African-American, I don't know much about him, but I was very impressed at how meticulous he was in explaining to the jury in particular, and presumably to the rest of America, as to the obligation of the people about to determine this lady's fate.
Well, you know, it's always very heartening to see an African-American who is out in front on matters such as this really represent. Because we are judged so critically, so harshly, until when you have an African American in an important position such as the position this judge is in, who is being viewed nationally. We always look to be made proud by that individual.
In an Obama era.
Absolutely, and this judge did a yeoman's job, both in ensuring fairness and making sure that that this was a professionally run trial, and you know, he's got my kudos. So he did a hell of a job, and it just goes to show that when we're made to jump higher and run faster, it's no wonder that we represent when put on the national stage such as that.
Good deal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Donnie. Attorney
Warren Brown. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.